What's up, everybody, and welcome back to All the Things Harry Potter, the alcohol-fueled chapter-by-chapter reread of the Harry Potter series with a cauldron of craft brew on the side. I'm Nate.
I'm Jade.
I'm Shantell.
And I'm James.
And this week, we're going to be getting into Chapter 14, Cornelius Fudge.
Let's fudge it up.
Okay, first, we should get into some news, maybe?
Okay.
There's a little bit.
Yeah, I guess the main thing is just that Rowling has gotten herself into a little bit of hot water recently.
Oh, you're talking about the tweet.
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like we should at least mention it because it is something going on and a lot of people are talking about it. So, we don't need to get too, deep into the trenches on this one. It's basically boils down to JK tweeting, "Dress however you please, call yourself whatever you like, sleep with any consenting adult who will have you, live your best life in peace and security." This all sounds great. And she says, "But force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real," followed by the hashtag I stand with Maya. Seems not so bad on the surface, But apparently Maya is actually a woman named Maya Forstater, I think is how you pronounce her name. She's a tax expert and she lost a claim against her former employer following comments on Twitter criticizing plans to allow people to self-identify their gender. Yeah, that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
And it basically comes down to just people being upset because in the past few years, Rowling has made herself look like a gay advocate. It took a lot of people by surprise and pissed them off because all of a sudden she went from being an advocate for LGBT to being apparently against. Well, supporting somebody who seems to have negative opinions about it. That's all the news I have. It's a little bit heavy, but I just wanted to throw it out there because I know that she's getting a lot of heat about it right now. I just personally, if I was a celebrity, would probably not tweet about stuff that's gonna piss off most of your fan base.
I had something I wanted to say. I didn't save it earlier. Professor McGonagall's birthday was yesterday. I was listening to everything you were saying. I was gonna write it down, but I guess I didn't. Real
quick, did you hear, you may not have heard our last podcast, but we talked about how there was a CD released for the Christmas holidays. It was for charity, and on it, Argus Filch, he was singing on it.
Oh.
He sang White Christmas, I believe.
Oh.
So, try and find that if you want to hear your beloved Filch.
Yeah.
Belting out some Christmas tunes.
I like Filchy.
So this chapter is kind of a quick one. And it kind of centers around Hagrid pretty heavily. And there's another attack.
Whoa. You're totally missing the point of this chapter, okay? They canceled Quidditch. You can't cancel Quidditch.
We're going to get into that because I have feels on that too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they canceled an NFL game, people would fucking riot.
Yeah.
Well, imagine an NFL game full of magic wands. People would be fucked up.
Yeah, people would die for sure.
So the chapter starts out and the kids are talking about why it makes sense that Hagrid opened the Chamber of Secrets.
They could just imagine that Hagrid was such in love with the animals and stuff. They could picture him as a 16-year-old trying to release whatever creature was in the chamber because it shouldn't be locked up.
Yeah, Hagrid's the kind of guy who'd be like, "Oh, there's an animal in there. It shouldn't be kept up." Kind of like Ron with Fluffy.
Right.
Like, well, we gotta let it out of there. It's all cooped up, poor thing.
So I'm thinking like a 10-foot, 15-foot caterpillar or something with 110 legs going everywhere. This chapter is crazy because they're even talking about flesh-eating slugs and stuff.
Well, and I also thought it was funny because I do mention Fluffy, but none of the kids are like, "Hey, wait a minute. Where the fuck did that dog go?"
Right.
Is he still in there?
I don't know. Why? Like, I would definitely go knock on the door.
Right, at least go swing by. Why wouldn't you ask, like, hey, whatever happened to your big-ass dog?
Yeah.
Since the mirror is gone now, do you still have him there, or...
Why isn't he just penned up behind your house or some shit?
Maybe he's frolicking in the forest.
That's some shit we should know. Like, I mean, I know we're not supposed to go in the forest, but if there's, like, a giant 3-headed fucking dog that could come out at any time, just like, hey!
Fang must be a little protective.
Yeah, I could see Fang being like, fuck you, this is my person, but also, like, the other one's 3 heads and is huge, so I think he would win.
They're also talking about why Tom Riddle made the choice to turn Hagrid in. Namely, a student has already died, and you'll get to stay at Hogwarts instead of attending a Muggle orphanage.
Well, my thing was, Hermione is like, oh, but a kid died, Ron, and I'm like, Hermione, fuck you. Snitches get stitches, bitch.
Right. He's still a
Yup.
narc. He narked out Hagrid. You don't do that.
Okay, now this was something I was hoping you guys were going to point out in your notes, because I am more on Tom Riddle's side now, considering the fact that he came from an orphanage and was afraid of going back to absolutely nothing. Considering Harry was comparing himself to Tom Riddle and not wanting to go back to the Dursleys.
I see that. I see where you're coming from.
Well, I think she wants you to feel for Harry, and Harry in turn feels for Tom, even though you don't really know Tom.
There are definitely similarities in the characters.
So eventually, Hermione brings up the idea of talking to Hagrid, but Ron's like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. It'll be a fun, super fun visit. And they decide, maybe not.
I feel like they were super torn with their seeking of knowledge about everything that's going on and hurting their friend. It's that's a struggle. I mean, do you be like, hey, you trying to kill people or what? Or do you, like, spare his feelings?
I just thought it was a little bit funny that Harry was like, well, maybe people don't know about this, I shouldn't bring it up. Like, all of the adults in the castle have no fucking idea why Hagrid was expelled, or that he opened the Chamber of Secrets the last time, and they're all just like, oh no, we're the only people who have that knowledge. If the kids are thinking this, the adults are probably thinking this, and they have, like, 4 weeks ago.
It's very specific.
What do you know, Jade?
To me, this is just one of those things in the book where your mind almost is, like, too smart for this, and you're like, but wait, they would know. Why are they thinking that they wouldn't know? Because they would know. And you just kind of gotta just keep going.
It's just, yeah, well, it might just be 12-year-olds being arrogant about it.
Oh, yeah, that too.
It had been almost 4 months since Nearly Headless Nick and Justin Finch-Fletchy had been petrified, and everyone seemed to think that the attacker was kind of finished. Peeves was finally tired of fucking with Harry all the time, and even Ernie of Hufflepuff was speaking to Harry again. I mean, he was very polite, but it doesn't mean he was cool with talking to Harry. I don't know. I was just like, there's a difference.
Yeah.
And the mandrakes were almost mature enough to use as an antidote for the petrified people.
This is still such a weird thing to me. They're throwing parties, and they're talking about when they start moving into each other's pots, we'll know they're ready. Like, when they start getting ready to fuck each other, then...
Have a fucking frat party?
Yeah, then they'll be ready, and then we can cut them up.
That's kind of what it sounded like. They're throwing parties and shit. They're moving into each other's pots.
They're like little people.
I feel like in this 4 months, they must be starting to, I think, get this, like, sense of relief. Or, like, maybe it's done, not going to happen anymore. Like,
Well, I think all the people are starting to feel like things are getting back to normal.
yeah.
So they don't have a reason to worry anymore. Like, yeah, it was fucking weird for a minute, but it's okay. It's fine. The mandrakes are going to take care of the people, and everybody will be better. Good
Like-
time will be had by all.
4 months is just, it's kind of a long time when you think about it.
Yeah, that's a long-ass time. There's such a huge time jump,
Right.
and it's kind of unexpected.
We're like spring now.
Yeah.
Right? We're
Yep.
spring. Yeah, we're in springtime now.
Yeah, Easter holidays.
Can you imagine these things running around the dark forest? These giant trees with faces just...
I don't think they'd get tree-like. Well, I hope they wouldn't get tree-like. In my head, they're like big carrots, like a root type thing, or like a potato with like something coming out of the ground, but then like a face.
It's just weird the way they describe them in the book as being like growing from baby to big one. I have the illustrated version here, and they are still relatively small. They're just not baby-like anymore, I guess.
My weird brain just thinks like root type vegetable. Rhubarb.
Well, no, it's just because they're buried, so that would make sense.
Right.
You know what else is buried? The
No.
segue for our beer break.
It's in there somewhere with the root people.
So this week we are drinking, I thought it was Abracadabra, but it's not. It's Arabacadabra because it's a coffee stout, and I read it wrong every single time I looked at it until exactly right now. It's a coffee milk stout from Bell's Brewery, actually. So not Grand Rapids. This one's from Kalamazoo. It says, a little brewer's magic transforms locally roasted Arabica beans and a variety of specialty malts into a creamy, intense coffee stout. Enjoy before it disappears. And they're right about the intense coffee flavor. You get a lot of it.
It's a pretty good beer, though. I like it a lot. It's got that good coffee taste, and it's another milk stout. We've been drinking a lot of milk stouts lately.
That's
Which
right.
means very smooth.
Does it
I like
compare
it.
to KBS at all?
This,
Or more coffee?
way more coffee. Way more
Mhm.
coffee. And this one isn't bourbon barrel aged either, so it doesn't pack quite the heat as KBS. But it's really good. I thought it was a good fit for a Harry Potter podcast because Arabacadabra. Kind of like James's Abraca Fuck Off. I like that one too. All right, well, we're going to take a little break, and we will be back right after this.
And we're back!
Yeah.
And Easter holidays are coming, and they get to choose their classes.
Can I just add in here that I was sadly disappointed that they didn't elaborate on the Easter holiday as much as some of the others? I mean, do they get to find eggs? Hide eggs? Do they get eggs? Is there a thing? Like, they doing ham? What are they doing? There was no mention.
I don't know if... because I don't know if like, there's a magical way of celebrating these holidays differently.
They could be floating eggs.
Is the egg thing worldwide, or is that like a U.S. thing?
I think it was based off of a Christian holiday, so I'm pretty sure it's worldwide.
I mean, if we're going that route, clearly, the egg thing isn't really part of Easter. If we're going the Christian route. But they did Christmas.
Well, it's like springtime and fertility and...
Yeah. I just meant in general, overall.
Did you just say fertility?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what Easter's all about. New growth and like life.
Oh.
Spring. Spring has
I've
sprung.
never ever heard that term.
Well, yeah.
I just feel bad they're not getting Cadbury cream eggs.
How cool would it be to have like an Easter egg hunt at like a magical school, though? Because it would be super easy for the teachers to just be like,
No.
hide us eggus.
No.
Yeah.
Because you would have that one teacher every time a kid gets close, disappear just to get his laughs, so he's a dick.
That was such a specific... No, there would be that one asshole teacher. Did you have someone hurt you during Easter at some point?
He never found one egg.
Yes.
Some
And he's
adult pushed him out of the way and was like, no, kid, my egg.
Fuck you and your egg.
It was
This
a
is my...
football field when we went for eggs,
Oh.
okay?
There's a real
Poor
story.
bastard.
See, I knew. That was a personal story you were telling.